Welcome back, everyone, to HGC Korea. We're in day one for 2018. A lot more Heroes action for the year to come, but our night is only half over. We're now jumping into KSV against Tempest. KSV Black, of course, formerly MVP Black. The big favorites, but this matchup should deliver.
And Tempest, they're not the old one anymore. Their roster change is insane. They have 3 million assassins. How does that make it into a team? I mean, I asked them to sign when they announced that team, even before they announced the team roster. It's like, who are you having it? Like, good, okay. Dami, and everyone is it going to work out? He said, it's working out fine. I wonder how fine it is when they are going against KSV even the first day.
Yeah, this is going to be a big test for them, of course. Two-time world champions of 2017, MVP Black winning BlizzCon, and then, of course, reforming to KSV Black, and then
Gold Club.
Yeah, and then winning Gold Club. So back-to-back championships for this team, and now they're looking to get more titles in 2018.
That's right.
Dami has always been a player in HGC Korea that's has his ups and downs, shall we say. Playing for Tempest originally in 2016, moving into 2017, bouncing between Miracle and other squads, and then at the end of the day, at the final roster he sells on here in 2018, goes back to Tempest. No Honkono with them this time, though. No, that duo that they had before. Honkono's sitting on the casting desk just down the hall. But we'll see how well Dami plays on this team. HA2 flexed onto range DPS at BlizzCon to pretty abysmal results. Tempest was the only Korean team not to get out of group stage. So, to be honest, I'm not really confident in this roster myself.
Well, Dami and Good. Also, Lockdown, of course, Lockdown can also do lots of ranged. But compared to that, Dami and Good, they have been picking lots of... if you name those names, you would automatically think Sonya, Zeratul, all the melee assassins that you can think of. But they are both flex in the team right now. I wonder how that's going to be.
Yeah, I'm not really
sold on that yet.
I'm not sold on it yet. Ask me in 2 weeks, I'll be able to answer that question. But I think tonight, if they impress, at least we'll know. I mean, the thing is, it's against KSV Black, so
they're against the strongest team in the world right now.
If they impress tonight, I think that tells us more than if they get crushed. If they can face off against some of the medium tier teams and still come out okay, it'll be a different story. Now, let's talk about this team really quick. Same roster from BlizzCon, same roster from Gold Club World Championship. KSV is an organization that's recently bought some of the best Korean organizations. Bought Samsung Galaxy League of Legends World Champions, bought MVP Black HGC World Champions at BlizzCon, bought Lunatic High's squad to go into Overwatch League. KSV is buying all the best teams, have several Battleground squads as well for the best players. And every single team they touch seems to turn to gold, and many of them already were golden, like MVP Black. This squad is considered to be, it has basically for the entirety of Heroes of the Storm, considered to be the best team in the world. And so for Tempest's new roster, they are going to be the first and perhaps toughest challenge of this first phase.
Well, I'm for sale, guys, and I'm ready to turn from yellow to gold anytime. So KSV, I'm open for sale, but this team, KSV, is the best, and Tempest, they have to be against them at the very first day, because this literally can decide how high they're going to be at the end, you know?
Yeah. Very well-funded team as well. These guys are playing for, they're playing for their victory, their pride, and things like that, but KSV is obviously a very well-funded organization, so these guys are going to be playing some good Heroes of the Storm for a long time. Now, Tempest were world champions, but that was in 2016 summer. That was a long time ago. This roster, I feel like, is the closest we've gotten back to that roster in a way in a long time, because Dami was the star player for the team there. The brothers, Hyde and Lockdown, the three there were the ones that were able to hold it together. Cyan, of course, was on MVP Black at the time, and it was Honkono who played Tyrael with this roster in order to hold it together. Now we've got Good in the mix as well. So will this roster work out the way that they want it to is the tough question. Like, I'm not super sold on Dami Good together in a roster like this to flex.
That's exactly the thing. When you just put them together, they were already aggressive, not really super rotating team. But with this roster, they're super. Even Hyde is an aggressive support. I wonder how aggressive they will be, and their problem to say was always the rotation. Their global, lack of global, not really catching up to EXP like L5 was now ballistics, of course. But let's take a look at the player comparison here.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird comparison. I suppose
Hyde is Sake, I guess, did play lots of Tassadar.
Yeah, I mean, Sake is
support.
He's a secondary support for the team a lot of the time, but Hyde is the main support.
Yeah, that's why the DPM is like totally off.
Yeah, like, this is a little bit of a weird comparison. I would not have chosen this one myself. But anyways, you can see Sake has a lot more siege damage from it because he plays heroes like Tassadar, whereas Hyde plays main supports that don't do as much siege damage or hero damage. So kind of a weird comparison to make here, but
yeah,
maybe
but I can tell that Sake was not too happy at that moment when they were taking the photo shoot.
Yeah.
Compared to Hyde.
Hyde was like, "Are you gonna compare me to this? We're not even the same role." Like he's got that kind of look.
I don't know. Crossing his arms.
I mean, it does show you, like, in terms of last year development of meta, like where these two players come from in terms of history. Obviously, Sake coming from a more aggressive position, used to be the main DPS player for the team.
Yes.
Hyde has always been the main support. Now we're moving into a meta of solo supports for the most part. At least that's what we've seen in our first best of 5. It's, I think, a little bit more important to look towards Sake versus other DPS heroes on Tempest, for example. We don't even know who's going to be playing what, right? Like, because Good's on the squad. He's always been a very good DPS player. Dami on the squad. No longer H82. Replacing now is Dami. I was talking about H82 earlier. It had a total brain fart. He's not on the roster. It was on my notes, but that's that was from old notes. So he did play ranged DPS in BlizzCon, like I said, but he's not on this roster, of course. It's Lockdown, Dami, and Good. That would be the potential DPS players. Now we're heading into our map drafts. Oh, go figure. Same exact situation in every way. Braxis ban, Volskaya ban, and we're going to Cursed Hollow.
I wonder if this is going to be the same KR bans only, because the other regions, of course, really preferring to actually play the new map sometimes, like Warhead and also Braxis. But it seems like that's going to be permanent ban for a while, Braxis and also Volskaya ban, but we're going into Cursed Hollow first game. I wonder how well, and Tempest is the one that picked the battleground, so they have to be in works with some kind of rotation work here.
Yeah. See what the plan is going to be. I think this is definitely going to be another Abathur ban coming out for KSV BLACK, who will have first ban heading into this first game of our second best of 5. Will be the Hanzo ban, in fact, first. So Abathur's still available. KSV BLACK could be looking to snatch that. Will not be allowed by Tempest here.
And insta Abathur ban from Tempest, because once Black can get any, like, because Genji's open, lots of other picks are open at the moment. If you let that Abathur on top of Genji or anything else, even Greymane, that's going to be in trouble. But see how highly Lucio is picked by Black. Basically, if they have a double pick, they would have picked Greymane Lucio 100%.
Yeah. Well, Greymane now going to be the pickup here for Tempest, you have to imagine. The question is with whom? Tyrael's been a highly contested pick. They're going to commit to the solo lane here for Sonya, and they want Genji for team fight potential more than early camp control. So the solo lane, I feel like, has really been so heavily prioritized and has made such a large impact.
Yes, with lots of the game changes, I think that's exactly why they're putting Sonya on top right now. Even with the Haka, see, even before the second bend phase, they're grabbing a DPS, maybe a support, but solo lane always goes in.
So now it's tough to ban as Tempest, because had they been able to control the solo lane in the second phase and remove the Dahaka, it would have been pretty amazing for them, right? But now the solo lane is a win for them in the matchup, but they lose the global. They have a quick roamer like Genji who can do a lot for them in terms of pressuring the lanes and potentially, winning those team fights. For Black, there's a lot of heroes they can ban to hurt Genji. For example, Black might want to ban the Tyrael, it could ban the Uther. Rhaegar also another strong ban for them to hurt Genji and Sonya. But for Tempest right now, there's no easy ban, which is why the time ticks down here. Let me go with a safe one, the Tassadar ban. very strong against Sake.
I think that's Tester one is not like 100% on point, but a very safe one, of course. But banning ETC, that's gonna be an ouch for Tempest. I think that exactly banning ETC from Sign. Of course, Sign can play a lot, but his ETC was incredible all the time when he was on ETC.
I don't think Sign is going to flex. He only flexed to Tracer in the past, which is not going to fit this comp. So I think this ban is a little bit weird, assuming Sign is going to be playing tank, because he could just simply lock in the Murden now and be totally happy with it. Will be a new Barak, so full dive for this team, going back to their roots from 2016.
And Leeming with the Wave of Force can push them out a little bit more, but what else was just a solid Arthas, because it's very divey from the other team.
I think Arthas would be fantastic here. I think Murden would be decent, but Arthas is so good against Anubra, Genji, Rhaegar's dive even, Sonya, of course, so Arthas feels like the obvious pick, even though sometimes he isn't the strongest solo tank. Because, I mean, Dahaka's tanky, right, but he's really the solo laner, whereas he's the main tank, I should say, not the solo tank.
Yeah, guys, of course, if you want to see some crazy mechanical plays coming out from all these players, go to hgc.playxp.com. You can watch their POV.
So taking Murden, I think, is maybe safer in some ways, but Arthas does provide a lot of protection against the dive coming through.
Yeah, they did this often when they had Dahaka. First put Murden on the front line. When he's down low in HP, he goes out from the fight, he heals himself with the trait, and then comes back to fight. So Lucio doesn't have to heal him as much. I think that's exactly the line of thinking where they're trying to team fight. That's exactly what they do all the time, Black, I mean.
Trying to figure out what a good secondary support would be here if they want to do solo DPS Genji. Hanzo being removed means that not going to see the brothers in action. Falstad, an old lockdown favorite, will be the hero pick.
On lockdown. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah,
Globals.
Falstad comes through to help counter Dahaka as a global, and you have quick rotations with Rhaegar to come up, and if he takes Wolf Run, which a lot of players will on this map in Korea, rotate very quickly. This is an interesting one. I can't say whether I favor one or the other completely, because it looked like Tempest was going fully down the dive path. They switched it up with Falstad at the end, so not an all-in comp on either side. I do think the plays of Anubra are going to be very important and oftentimes team fight defining. As we saw in our previous series, you get those CCs in those choke points and you're going to have a good time. So that should be the burden on Sign. As we head into this game, we'll find out exactly who is playing what, though, because this team has been known to role swap quite a bit with these new roster changes coming through, with Good joining the team as well. It's tough to know. Good will be on Sonya, Lockdown on Falstad, Dami on Genji, so everything normal. Sign on that Anubra.
And on the other side, Hyde on Rhaegar, Sign on Anubra, Dami on Genji, and I missed the rest. Lockdown, of course, on Falstad.
It's okay. We don't have to read it out for everyone. Everyone can read. You know what I'm saying, G-Clef? Like,
oh man, 90%.
I mean, KSV is like, those 2 losses like really hurt us. I wish they wouldn't show that stat.
Yeah, it's like after you take a test, it was like, I got 2 wrong out of like 500 questions. Oh man, my mom's gonna punish me.
I mean,
those Asians, man.
Look at Tempest's win rate though. Comparatively, it's a negative win rate. They still chose the map. So, okay, Tist with a bit of a wonky Stormbolt there. Reese will be playing the Grey main, so still sticking with his main DPS role, whereas Bisake on the Leeming. So, KSV Black sticking with what they know as well, so nothing crazy. We do know, of course, if you've been watching Tempest since 2016, that Lockdown is a very good Sonya, and in fact, when they were running non-Sonya comps with Falstad back in 2016, they would have him flex to the Sonya. But now they have Good on the roster, just simply doesn't make sense to have one of the world's best Sonyas and one of the world's best Falstads, you know, playing opposite roles of each other. Lockdown was a decent Sonya, but Good was a fantastic Sonya, and vice versa.
So they have lots of flags, they have lots of damage. This meta actually fits their roster somewhat. Having all the control right now. Taking all, see, this is the kind of rotation we were expecting to have from the beginning of HGC, but now as we come down to Black versus Tempest, it's only the beginning here.
It's really cool, but if you have Falstad as your solo laner temporarily, Sonya can rotate and clear camps quickly. In fact, they're going to go for the night camp now as well, so both camps taken early. Favorable matchup for Falstad here as well as it is for Sonya, as long as you don't get grabbed by the tongue. If you get tongue grabbed, then you shouldn't be probably playing solo Falstad. And second of all, you may very well die and lose the matchup at the same time. So important to play Falstad carefully. Because you're ranged, obviously, against a melee hero, you're in good shape.
So they actually have pretty good wave clear with Falstad and also Rehgar at the bottom, so they're all the way going around the camp easily because they have Sonya. They're doing all that, but they're gonna see Black is... Look at that tight control because they were... It seems like they're slower on the rotation, so they're gonna push in a little bit to gain their own control of pushing in, trying to get as much.
Notice how Reset plays this. Every time he has Vision of Dami, he's auto-attacking him every time, just to make sure he's as low as possible. Because obviously, he has such a low health pool, Genji does, so Reset's just trying to make sure that stays even lower so he can maybe get a cocktail kill later or force Dami to tap. So Rehgar does rotate up here. They're going to look for a pick. Good jump away there by Tis to avoid the stun. Sends Rehgar back down. No reason for him to stay here anymore.
Not even too hard. Seems like that was... It seems all natural for Tis to just toss away, but they are going to focus on good at the moment. The Haka comes to join, but the minions are in the way for now, but the damage is enough. They're going to get the trade. Falstad comes in.
Okay, lockdown coming in. Double global
Sake
here.
onto Genji.
Yeah, lockdown in bad position. No mana to barrel roll. That was a bad situation. Kyocha going to go ahead and toss down his Amped up for the heals here. Hyde going to have to go into wolf form here. Tist looking for the Stormbolt. Nice block by Sign to make sure that did not happen. This looks like a win for KSV Black, though. Heading down now towards this tribute. Good plays by both globals, but Rich definitely having the faster snap decision there. And Falstad somewhat limited. You know, he has to be in range for his flight, whereas Rich can go anywhere there's brush.
And also a little bit slower, and also with that team fight, that was a big, I guess, just a big team fight in the middle, but lots of CCs. If that minion wave was not in the middle, I think the Aka could have survived. I think he was extended because he had to continue with that wave clear. He was forced to just have that CC to a target.
If you're going to watch first-person views on this one, I would definitely recommend watching Lockdown and Rich.
Yes.
You can watch Good if you like to watch Sonya, and there's a lot to learn there, but if you want to know like when you should come in and how long you should play the game of like Global Chicken, I think that watching Rich and watching Lockdown is going to be really helpful to you if you like the split push to understand how long to stay. So here comes Sake looking for the push here. Very aggressive position from Sake though. He's going to pay for it with his life very likely. Shield's coming through. He taps. Oh, goes in for the damage with Calamity, gets the kill, and Hyde now stuck behind the wall. Sake with the outplays and they get them a double, and they were gonna get this tribute and curse point with this as well.
Never mind, guys. Go look at Sake.
So he understood that under the cannon tower there, I mean, honestly, I think his positioning was still incorrect, but he made the best of a bad situation, understanding that with the tapping there and his teammates turning there onto the DPS, he was able to get the kill with the healing he had from the healing fountain, which then gives him a reset and more health because he took the normal build here. Where you get the heals every time you get a takedown. For some reason, that's escaping me. Critical Mass, I think, is the name of the talent.
Huh? Dominance?
Oh, Dominance, yeah, Dominance.
Yeah.
Critical Mass is the trait. So Dominance plus the Calamity there at
2018.
7.
Always go for the orb, guys. That's not the way, of course.
No, don't go for the orb.
Trolling for a second.
If someone's throwing an orb at you and you're going to get hit by it no matter what, do go for it. Walk into it. You'll take less damage. That's what I tell people when I saw them go for the orb. So now KSV Black has heroic advantage. Actually going to get a pick here into Lockdown. Unfortunate pathing here. Got caught. Tries to fly, but not quick enough. That gives them 10. They will have a favorable tribute spawn, so they're going to get the curse. In fact, they're going to rotate down here to even stop this push, just leaving Lucio alone in the top lane to get that tribute. In fact, look at how he's delaying it. Wants to actually... Oh, no, sorry, I had to spawn. I was going to say he's delaying it. Wants to get the curse at a better timing. Could be a thing you want to do. In this case, he's not going to. They have 10. They want to get this pig. Want to turn off this fort so they can get these kills. Here comes Rich.
Comes from the side, and Genji will get dragged, and Rich is looking for a double kill.
Oh my god.
That was a brilliant setup by Rich, and he just goes away like a boss.
Like, so the idea there, the reason why he used Isolation first was so that to make sure he could get both kills. Had he used Isolation on the grab on one target, he would have gotten, obviously, one kill, but to use it on 2 different targets means he guarantees both kills. Nowhere to hide when the fort is actually disabled.
He just walks away like, I did my job, guys, so just... That was just coordination play and the trust coming out from the entire team.
So 10 is now here for Tempest. Curse still available for 20 more seconds, but Lockdown's pushing top. Tempest is recovering from this, but still in a very painful spot. No tributes held at the moment. And by the time they have 10, there's not much they can do with it, in fact. So, KSV Black, 2 levels up. Heroics they used in that last fight are about to come off cooldown. Isolation's back up. And Black looks like based on their positioning right now, they look to get their own blue side boss. Tempest responds well, though. A smart decision. Could trade bosses here. Still a win for KSV Black, but it could be worse for
See
Tempest.
how well Tempest can actually create their own isolation with the Cocoon and the Gust. Just pushing the 4 members aside with the Gust and then focusing on whoever's in the Cocoon. I think best member here will be Lucio or Li Ming or even Greymane, because they do have the burst damage. But is Black going to position themselves to let that happen because they know that's going to come in?
So Rich showed himself for just a moment, which was another Noblesse Invade-esque move to try to scare Tempest. They don't take the bait. He goes top, but notice the push bottom. They already damaged the keep, actually, funny as it is, even though the keep wall is up because they dove so far. The wall is down, the cannon tower is nearly down. This is designed to get a very early keep. Dahaka cannot stop the top boss from doing a lot of damage to the fort, but it doesn't matter. He can come down if they need him for a team fight. If they win a fight here with the keep down, they win. So Black is kind of just playing the safest play that gets them a keep. It might get them more.
Also coming in from the flight from the side.
Right into a root. He might die here. Cleanse has to be used. He has to use Gust. Guaranteed keep now. Sign under fire.
Does not even use Cocoon, and
this might be game.
Onto Hyde.
This is such a safe play by KSV Black.
Mistake goes low. Can he make the kill? Does get the kill on the Greymane? So
good Ancestral too.
Will not be game, but Genji blows up.
Well, if they get any more picks here, they are going to have to hide between the core and the keep. Not going to get the picks that we're looking for, but Lockdown's flight unfortunately got him stuck there. KSV's just going to back away. It's so cool that they use Rich's global to, because he teleports faster than Falstad can, and obviously Falstad unfortunately went right onto a root there.
That was a funny move.
Oh, it just happens, right? But they can use the fact that he can help clear the boss, they can come over here, and if they got their picks, if they hadn't lost, I believe it was Li Ming who died first, they win the game there, right? So basically trying to say, I get to keep worst case, best case, I win the game. Didn't work out, obviously. Good counterplays there by Tempest, but a very impressive push nonetheless. Uh-oh. Just snapped Dwarf Toss looking from that, did not get interrupted.
They still have the Cocoon, but do not want to waste it onto Moradin yet.
Seeing that Boombox suddenly became super meta in Korea was not really ever the case before, but now like pretty much 100% pick rate in our first day of HGC 2018. I like it a lot. It gives you a lot of extra zoning and sustained healing.
Also a good. It's also a ward if you just place it in the bush.
Sure.
You can have some sight that way, but Falstad, Rich going for the solo kill. Oh, that tongue missed anyhow.
He missed it, but he forced out the Gust.
A panic Gust.
Yeah. Had he hit it,
so with that, and they just go straight in because there will be no isolation without the Gust, you know. So Cocoon is just in hold. Sign has never used the Cocoon in this game yet.
Yeah, if he had gotten the pick onto Falstad, like things could have been even worse. Disastrous. 35 seconds left for Lockdown on that, unfortunately. At least he stayed alive. Things could be worse. But Tempest is holding on tight. They have Falstad. They have decent wave clear in their squad, so dealing with the catapults in the bot lane is not going to be, you know, the death of them. It's not going to be the reason why they die. It's extra pressure. It's frustrating, but they have tools to deal with it. The bigger concern becomes how to win team fights at this point because they're getting picked early. Rich's flanks have been destroying them, picking them apart.
Every single time.
And we'll see if that happens again. He's going to have Brush Talk soon. The Tist is going to be the engager.
Again, he does survive. Does have the... Does not. Okay. Barely gets out, but Sonic then comes in. Falstad is getting harassed by Rich from the side. He can't come in.
Yeah, Falstad cannot come in. He already used his Gust again onto Rich in the bot lane. Wish we could show you guys a replay of that, but if you're watching the minimap, we're watching first persons, you saw it. Dami tries to Dragon Blade here, countered by this Sound Barrier, and also they have the Spell Armor coming in from this Nightcap. Such a strong pitch, so annoying to deal with. With that Spell Armor here, will be cleaned up in just a moment, but so much damage done. Cocktail is complete here, so a lot of extra damage and cooldown reduction will be coming through.
That's exactly the thing. They're trying to create isolation with Cocoon. I was wondering, why isn't Sign using the Cocoon? Because Falstad is not... could not come because of Rich. Rich is on top of Tempest, all 5 members' head.
Yeah. You know, normally the solo lane matchup when you look at these heroes is Sonya versus Dahaka, but today in this matchup it's really Dahaka versus Falstad, and Falstad's been on cleanup duty because of the catapults. Makes him a prime target if he pushes too far. Trying to catch up in experience, Rich can punish that, as we've seen. Gust finally back available. We'll see if he is forced to use it by Rich again. He's actually playing very safe right now, coming at a top angle. Could use it to try to engage. Nope, takes the safer path here. Didn't know where Rich was. Cocktail is going to be a huge factor in damage here with leaving so much poke because he has that quest complete now.
Diago coming in from behind, grabs on Silas Dami. This is perfect timing.
Rich's positioning is fantastic here.
Grabs
good.
Sonya, oh my goodness.
And resets galore here for Sake. Dami used the dash in. Not going to get a reset onto that one.
Does not have the Dragon Blade.
Nope. Used it a while ago. 15 seconds left before that's going to be available. They're going to go for a second keep here. The next tribute will be Cursed for Black. They have double bosses available, but they may just look to end the game here if they get another pick. Tempest needs to be patient here. Let this keep go. To commit to a fight would be foolish. Having that extra night cap for the spell armor as well, it's continuing to be a nuisance. Rich goes ahead and brush talks over. We'll get them the curse. They're headed back towards blue side boss. Is there a counterplay here for Tempest? It's tough to say. I think maybe they should go ahead and grab their own boss.
That might even not be enough if this boss comes all the way into the core. I think Black wants the core here.
Yeah, look at the positioning. They scout out. They scout out Tempest here using this watchtower C lockdown.
They want to push wave as far as possible at the moment.
Now that the camp has been taken, they know 100% all 5 are here. And really, all this curse has done so far is gotten the top fort. This is a scary position for Tisp. He gets away, but otherwise they've just prepped these catapult minions. And the mid catapult minions are going to start working on the core first, and then they're just going to push this boss for more catapult minions from the south. Tempest needs to win a team fight before they get to the core, or they are going to lose this game.
20 more seconds on the curse, and the catapult is on, and they want to do as much damage.
Here comes the gust. Potential. There it is. That's what they were looking for. Here's the cocoon.
They can't save anyone. No sound barrier for KSV at the moment.
Okay, Dragon Blade doing a lot of damage. Dami needs to make this happen now. Resets down. There you go. There's the resets. And Tist is going to go down here. Boss, though, on the core. Catapults in the mid lane. On the core. They need to go back now. But they did exactly what they needed to do. They needed to win a fight before they got to the core. They would have lost the game no matter what. They will stay alive as it is now, losing only core health. But that was exactly what they needed. Finally, Lockdown gets the flight gust he was looking for all game long. Core survives with 51 health. Top keep is alive. But that is exactly, precisely the only thing Tempest could have done to win this game, was to take that fight, and that they did.
Including Lucio, of course. Without sound barrier, damage onto anyone leaving Greymane was the perfect one. They actually got Lucio out pretty quickly. And also sound barrier not even used because Lucio had to be basically forced out by that time.
Basically everyone was dead before then, yeah. The fight was over before he could use it. And that was all on Dami's Dragon Blade.
Tempest did their job. They're getting the boss, but their core is already down to 51. It's getting the shield, but they're missing 2 keeps.
They're so glad they have Falstad in their comp now, because Falstad's going to help make this cleanup easier of the catapults. But trying to even get a keep or a keep wall with all this catapult pressure, I don't even think is reasonable for Tempest right now. This push is coming through the top lane, but they can't really commit to it because of those catapults and the backdoor potential that exists. Look where Rich is right now, hiding himself as he goes to the bot lane, keeping his vision, or sorry, keeping his opponent's vision of him unknown. All they can really hope to do is get to 20. If they can get to 20, then Falstad can much easier with his epic mount deal with the catapult pressure. But I like the choice of Tempest to play it safe. Not commit to this boss, not commit to the push. They could get backdoor, they could lose the game via Rich. They just maximize how much experience they get out of this boss moment. So they're taking experience lead. They're going to get that 20 that they so desperately need to come back.
Slowly, as it's not the worst. It is not the top and bottom keep at least. So Svalstad, it's the middle one and the bottom one. So you don't have to travel as much. So with the epic mount, as you mentioned, it's going to be a lot easier for Lockdown to just flight in, and of course also to create that gust opportunity, just like before. I think KSV Black realizes that, but that was very tough for them to defend while they were pushing in with the boss. If Tempest can actually do that once more, they can take the game.
Yeah, absolutely. 19-19 still. Tempest just hoping for that level 20 advantage for when the team fight hits. Black obviously going to play safely as a result so that this does not occur. Want to avoid that fight. This tribute almost meaningless right now. Dami's going to start channeling it, but he's not going to heavily commit if Black contests, which they will not.
For now, maybe later on it will mean a lot when Tempest actually gets the curse. Yeah. If we go all the way to the end.
Sure. It could be meaningful later, but at this moment in time, it's absolutely meaningless. Tempest is going to grab it. Black not willing to take that fight against 20. They just let the catapults speak for themselves, allow that pressure in the lane to keep them map control. But now that Epic Mount is available, it hasn't locked it in yet, but it's available. They can use that to sweep around the map. He is going to take it. I mean, there is obviously the potential of wind tunnel, like winning you the game and things like that, but I like this choice better. Now Falstad can more quickly rejoin teamfights while dealing with that pressure.
Man, you were reading my mind. I was about to mention that, but my mind's blown with that.
So, the tribute spawning. This tribute's more important, obviously, because it sets up... Oh, we're going to have a pause, so we can talk about this. So, this tribute sets up Tempest for Curse Point. However, with all, you know, the forts, minus the top fort, still available, cursing the Mullah experience doesn't matter as much because they already got 21st. They couldn't use that to get an advantage, which is important because, you know, that would have been the one moment Black could have maybe lost the game. But Curse could allow them to go straight top, especially because they have Falstad, push it down, kill the core.
They can do all that with the boss, but Black, are they going to let them do it? That's the problem. Rich can just come in at any time. Falstad, I think, is the key for both teams, actually, not just for Tempest. If he just dies off of Rich, if Rich pulls onto Falstad, just one tongue grab will be just GG. So lockdown, he's holding all that key. I wonder what the pause is for right now. Maybe some sound issues?
Not 100% sure. I'm sure we'll get an update as soon as we can. But it's cool to think about, too, like what it means for the Falstad pick when you have pressure against you. Because Falstad can actually be a split pusher that can cause backdoors to happen. But when you have this catapult pressure on you, it really limits what Falstad's useful for as a hero. But now that he's hit 20, I think he's going to be more effective. Sign is going to be the target here for now, but they're not going to commit onto him. Looking for an outer pick, if possible.
20 versus 20, this may just be the last team fight.
Yep, okay. Rich still has his Rush Dogger. He can use it if need be. They bait out the shield here onto Good. He's going to be the target. Gust already used. Oh, this is bad for Tempest. No tools for initiation now. And here we go. Nice job here. Rich jumping through, gets that isolation onto Hyde. Sake gets away.
Sign going in, and Cocoon is almost being robbed. Ancestral nicely done. Again, he's swinging away, getting the kills, getting the first one, and on to Kota the second one.
Okay, that was super well done by Dami there. And he is going to do the damage required. This is going to be nearly a full team wipe. But look at the mid lane. Greymane's looking for the back door.
Oh, I thought he was. Also, Falstad
I mean, he was definitely thinking about it.
For a second only. Oh, that's...
Yeah, so
with Greymane though, it's not. I don't think it's gonna be game, but with the boss, if they can actually push everything in with the curse.
The problem is that they have to go through this fort. So curse will be available for them in 12 seconds. So this is even though there's a fort and a keep, like they won't be firing, but these roadblocks for Tempest will prevent them from ending the game before the respawns come through. Also, the fact that the Cocoon delayed their final kill there onto Tist means that Tist has a late respawn, but it's still bought time for the majority of the members to come back. So they're going to look for easily multiple keeps. If Black messes up their spawns and get picked, they will lose the game. And Tempest has, again, Epic Mount. Gust is back available. They've really got every tool in the book. Even Ancestral and Dragonblade should be up before while the core is under attack. Like, they should be up by that time. 5 seconds left for Tist, who has that delayed respawn. Good, gonna go ahead and commit. He gets dragged. Ooh, Gust used very early here, but they just want to make sure this boss is healthy to hit the core.
They just want to go all the way and maybe just get the keep and escape, because they do have an Epic Mount.
Catapult only on 1 health, but doing a lot to help slow down this boss here. Need to avoid this. Good comes in.
Going in again, eating lots of healing, even Ancestral used.
Yeah. Still going to get this keep, though. They have 2 levels of scaling advantage right now in terms of damage. That's a lot. Dami pops a Dragon Blade, but he wants to make it last forever. Sound Barrier used here. Reset got low for just a moment. Trying to kite back right now. Tist low as well. The core here Now under attack.
Reset, nice! Greymate is gone, and Boss is still already working on Murad in his block, but there goes...
Now they're trapped though. Curse roll runs out here. Look at the huge stuns coming through. Will there be enough damage though? Sake stun locked here. He's down, and that's going to be game despite the curse running out. Boss survives, and Tempest will get the comeback win here at 21 minutes into the game. And KSV Black, back-to-back world champions, will finally lose a map here as Tempest is able to win that late game. Great focus fire onto the DPSs, and Dami's Dragon Blades were fantastic when paired with those cocoons. Soundbearer denied, and that's all you need.
I got goosebumps after watching that team fight. That was an incredible team fight, even without the Gust. They didn't even use the Gust. They were actually focusing onto Muradin for that avatar. In case and Reset got low from some poke, and then Genji was actually having his focus onto the other side. Exactly. That's the kind of play that Tempest has to show. I'm sure at KSB they had every single tool. They thought they were leading. They thought they were going to win the series or win this first set, but oh man, I'm just way too excited now. KSB dropped a set from the very beginning.
Without Falstad, that would have never been possible. Falstad's obviously a hero that in the kind of like mid to late game, and in the late game can be a split pusher who can set up backdoors, who can help for catapult pushes, and so can sometimes even backdoor a keep eventually. Same with Tahaka, but in this case he was constantly on cleanup duty. But the comeback began actually when he had that amazing gust. He had the one gust or the one fly-in where he got caught. But the first time he was able to gust during that boss push that almost won KSV Black the game, that was the MVP play right there. They had to take the fight before they got to the core, and that's exactly what he allowed to happen. So Lockdown to me, despite having some mistakes, I think in the early mid game, once we got to 20 and even that first fight on the boss is why he's my MVP for that map.
Oh man, that was an incredible play, and compared to Lockdown, good of course. Approaching as Sonya oftentimes was, I think, a little bit too early, eating lots of healing coming out from Hyde all the time, even Ancestral sometimes, and also Falstad had to use the Guts to save Sonya oftentimes, maybe 3, maybe 4. Yeah. And I think that was a great safety tool for them also, to keep Good alive all the time.
Yeah, it's a little bit concerning that even though they won the game, that last fight, not the fight on the core, but leading up to the core on the keep wall, they basically lost it, had to use Gust and Ancestral before the fight even began. Had KSV Black not been cursed, had the boss not been pushing, this is a disastrous situation for Tempest. So they won. They won the game, they got that curse, they got the boss, they won the team fights that mattered through those Dragon Blades from Dami. But there were still some concerns, right? They lost the majority of that game. The mid game was weak. Rich played Lockdown like a fiddle in terms of the solo matchup. And even though they had every single tool in the book, the boss, the curse, they struggled to finish the game. And I think that maybe people who missed this game and didn't watch it will think, wow, I'm sure Tempest destroyed Black in that first game. But that's not actually true. In fact, they had a very few good team fights in the Supreme League and some good decision making that got them back into it. But otherwise, there were a lot of concerns, and this is a good lead up for them to win this series and to get their morale higher against back-to-back world champions KSV Black. But I'm not sure if this game leads me to believe that they can take this best of 5.
Yep, this is Korea. This is the exact Korean level that we're looking into play. The match number 1, they were the new teams coming into HGC Korea. These two teams, actually KSB losing their first set, they must be upset because their new coach is here. All the members from KSB is actually coming here watching their play right next to them. Maybe they're feeling the pressure here a little bit. Well, of course, Rich was flying in and out from the beginning of the game, but later on, Lockdown was actually making the key play all the time, saving his teammates, gusting in, making that initiation. That was incredible, and also Sign keeping the cocoon until the last moment, also to deciding to cocoon Muradin. I was guessing, why is he doing that? But sometimes you need to do that if you're looking into, because Muradin will block all the damage coming in from the side.
Well, Sky Temple is going to be the map pick here for Tempest heading into this